I wanted to go to Ivana Trump. I mean, it's such a weird, sad, creepy, just a lot of just bizarre elements to it. I mean, we've seen a lot of horrific things that the Trump family has apparently done around the death of Ivana, from using her death to move their deposition with Letitia James to burying her on the back lot of a golf course, allegedly for tax purposes. But there's something else that I saw you mention that I had not seen reported anywhere. And that is that the kids have been encouraging people, and you could correct me if I'm wrong here, encouraging people to donate to this charity called Big Dog Ranch Rescue. And that may have some other sort of corrupt implications there. What do you see the Trump family doing? How are they using this to grift off the death of Ivana?
I can't say for sure whether they're, grifting off the death of Ivana, but I can say they're continuing to grift using a love of hers, which are dogs. I just don't, you know what I'm saying? I want to be really careful.
Yeah, this is your opinion. This is
So my opinion is, first of all, condolences to their family and extended family. Regardless, it's still to lose someone is devastating. To watch them lose their mother, of course, I was looking forward to the Friday's deposition by Letitia James, right? I knew that Donald, Ivanka, and Don Jr. were being deposed the next day. So the fact that Ivana died on Thursday, their deposition was postponed. And again, until yesterday, I had heard that there hadn't been a new date. It's supposed to be sometime this month. We'll see. But in watching what these children and their husbands and their wives do with foundations and charities has been the cornerstone of a grift for the Trump family. They've each utilized different charitable events and foundations to raise money. And at some point within that movement and flow from one corporation to the other, money has been spent at Mar-a-Lago. And money was spent at the Trump Hotel, and money is spent at Bedminster. There is always a way for them to profit. And here, the foundation that for the dog rescue was one that Laura Trump had already funneled in over $2 million. By working with them. This is one of her charities. So for me, when I read that, I found it odd that there were no others, right? It was only this one that happened to be under, scrutiny for a little while. Again, they do so much daily that you can't keep up. So it's like, you just want to turn the page and keep going.
Right.
But we have to take a second and step back and say, wait a second, what charity? When I was reading, I was like, what charity is that? And wait, and then to the fact that, I feel bad that she's all, I don't know. It's Ivana, the fact that her children, and maybe it was her wishes to be buried there like that. I just find it disheartening. And I also think that they've continued to use everyone, and it looks as if this was another opportunity, the death of their mother, to be able to find a way to raise money for whatever may benefit them.
It's definitely bizarre, the whole thing. I mean, at the very least, it's just like, who are these? It's like the Addams family makes the Trumps look like. It's absurd. I mean,
yes, I want to ask you, if you're a lawyer, how is it possible that we heard about Ivana's passing. We heard that at first that it was, internal bruising to the torso. And then we heard there was being investigated. And then like 5 hours later, it was closed, shut down, right? The case was ruled an accident. Don't they investigate those type of, and again, I'm not doing any conspiratorial conversation with you. I'm just saying, out of respect to Ivana, like, isn't there usually time to make sure that nothing else happened, or it was just a quick open and shut case?
It's interesting that you say that, because, I run a forensic pathology institute where we provide second free autopsies to families who lose loved ones in situations involving officer involved shootings and deaths like that. So that it gives the family in that period of time the comfort to know a cause of death. And so I'm very familiar with second autopsies in a very unique way based on the organization that I'm running. And I've never heard of a autopsy that's done in 5 hours ever. I've never heard of that before. Usually the initial autopsy from the municipality will take days, especially where there's strange circumstances, where it's not like an elderly individual who dies of natural causes. In a situation like this, usually it would take at the very least a week, a few weeks, sometimes many weeks before you get the causes. And then you got to send blood results to labs and you got to get all this testing. And so it doesn't just end with the initial autopsy. You're waiting for testing results and lab results and all of that information. And then usually if there was also suspicious circumstances or just strange circumstances, a family may want to avail themselves to have their own forensic pathologist come in and also try to, and they'd pay for that service to also get answers as well, because you'd very rarely be fully trusting of a very crowded county coroner's office that's doing 100 autopsies in a day, and and the county coroners are already overloaded with all of the fentanyl overdoses that are taking place. So I've never heard of that before, Stephanie, and it's strange. It's odd. It's odd that it happened so, that the autopsy happened so quick. I'm with you. I don't want to veer down a path into conspiratorial land, but suffice to say that as someone who runs a forensic pathology institute, I've never seen that happen.